cooperate in an independent investigation. China hasn't done that. China is subject to the Universal Periodic Review, and so every 3 years it comes up for a review. Canada, to its credit, is the only country in the Universal Periodic Review which has raised the issue of persecution of Falun Gong, and it's been the only one. And China will come up again with the Committee Against Torture and the Universal Periodic Review, and more can be done. And I would say, even with UN Rapporteur on Torture and Religious Intolerance, they raised it a couple of years. China gave them a runaround, and they stopped raising it. So that, in my view, they should keep on raising it. The International Criminal Court is not available as a remedy, but there are other parts of the UN system that could be doing more, and I think Canada and other states should be pressing the UN system to do more. And I was actually, there was a petition that was sent to the UN Office, the High Commissioner for Human Rights, with 1.5 million signatures on this issue. And I went to Geneva to, I think, Damon, you were there too, yeah, right. So we went to Geneva to present that petition, and they haven't done anything since with it. They haven't investigated. They said, oh, maybe go to Vienna and the UN Office of Drugs and Crime, and the UN Office of Drugs and Crime said, well, we're not sure that stuff on tourism isn't within our bailiwick, and it's just kind of gone nowhere. And I mean, to me, 1.5 million signatures should not be treated so lightly, and so I think the UN system needs to be do more, and we need to press them to do more.
Thank you, David. So we'll have 3 more questions, and then we will that will be it for this evening, because we're running out of time. Unless you make it quick questions, quick answers, we have about 5 or 6 more minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, my question is specific to Ethan and your new book, The Slaughter, because I'm a big fan of your writings on China, and I just want to know how you see your new book fitting in the literature on forced organ harvesting. We have, as we saw on the screen, we have state organs, we have bloody harvest, and then your book comes in. I just want to know, as a reader, how we should view it.
Well, I'll try to be very quick. The key thing that I'm trying to add here is that I believe underneath this question of, did this really happen, or is this happening, is another question, which is, why is it happening? But underneath both of those questions, I believe, is the question, why should I care that this is happening? And my book has a lot of human beings in it, which I think you become quite attached to over the course of reading the book. And the book was meant to be read. It wasn't meant to be brandished as a talisman in the political writing. It was meant to be, to give you a feeling of what it's like to actually be inside these stories. They're not all tear-jerking stories, they're all kinds of stories. But that's my intention, that's where I hope it'll be adding some major addition to the literature.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hello. I would like to know what you would suggest a member of the public should or could do to encourage our government to expedite, to facilitate a law to make it illegal to go and do organ transplant tourism.
Well, and every person here has a member of parliament. They go to your member of parliament, ask them to make a statement, present a petition, propose a resolution, support a private member's bill, or get the government to include one of their omnibus criminal bills. There's lots of. You can go to the state, the provincial legislature, your city council, get them to propose a resolution, endorse a resolution on this. Any one of them would do.
Yeah, the only problem is, David, everybody's going on trade missions to China, and they're afraid to rock the boat, unfortunately. Yeah.
Thank you for your very informative presentations. I'm from PAG Ottawa. We're an NGO that tries to advocate human trafficking issues. We're organizing a conference on organ trafficking in April 2015. And when I was listening, I heard very, very motivated people talking here, trying to do whatever they can to help. And I was wondering, we still need experts on this issue. whether maybe you guys have resources to share, or whether you would be willing to help us out on this.
I'm broke. Clean that.
Well, resources can be knowledge to us as experts.
Sure, I'm perfectly willing to help.
So could I come by and get a visit card and get an email address, and that would be
Absolutely.
great. Then I can.
I can't promise you their addresses, but I promise you mine.
Okay, thank you very much. Final question?
I think you addressed part of it. But I lived in China, and rampant corruption in China is so out of control. I don't know how you can even address this issue and resolve it. But also, too, the Canadian government is so involved with trade in China, and they send over so many trade missions. They seem to be strictly focused on improving our economy by sending over raw resources to China to be transferred into finished products. I can't see the Canadian government, I can see them giving lip service to the whole issue, but I can't see motivating a Conservative Party who is focused on keeping, especially with the elections coming up, on their own on the economy and on how that appears to the Canadian public, how they're going to sort of focus on anything else or address this issue.
Question?
I have a-
Question? Did you want to, okay, do you want to comment, guys?
I do have a quick point on that, yeah. I mean, look, Israel, practically half of the software and IT industry in Israel is held up by Chinese investment at this point. Probably 50%. I mean, it is quite amazing. I was just recently in Israel. It's not an exaggeration. They passed this, they banned organ tourism openly without barely giving it a thought, seemingly, towards this investment. And apparently it didn't really affect it. But even if it was going to affect it, they seem to be dead set on doing it anyway. Now, I don't quite understand that approach. I mean, because I personally can't find many cases of countries which have paid, dearly for this kind of thing. When you are following your own values in terms of banning organ tourism, you're following your own values. And I think that's why I tend to push the organ tourism issue, because it's just like, we can't do this. We can't be involved. The Jewish state, which was forged in the Holocaust, could not be involved in taking organs from religious dissidents. This is impossible. So I think that there may be many, to me, you've asked a great question, because I'm here, I'm an American who lives in London, and I frankly find Canada, I find this a mystery. I do not understand why Canada is not leading the world. This is a country which has supremely high human rights standards. It runs through the culture. It's obvious to me. As I've just been in 2 cities, it's so clear. Anyway, but maybe you guys can explain that, and we can talk about that.
On that note, and it's a very poignant point and a very powerful one, just wanted to let you know there's a petition outside for you to sign on this issue. It's outside. What? Yeah? And you can take it home and get other people and then be in touch with Grace. There's also a reception coming up right after this, in which you can meet with our distinguished panel. I understand that Ethan will be signing his book. Not giving it away, but signing it. And thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you leave here motivated, not just enlightened. Thank you.